Here's how I plan to profit on my trades during this upcoming recession. So come over here to my chart. If we just look at yesterday, which was August 5th, and everybody knows that the market was down at one point nearly 7% on the NASDAQ. We had this big rush of sellers coming in. There was a lot of fear over in the Middle East. There was a lot of fear in the US economy. What was going on? Nobody knew. And if you look at Japan was down 12% yesterday. And today they were up 10.25%. So how much fear is really out there? We don't know. It could just be very intermittent fear, but you can make money on that, and I do. So I'm always looking for days that we have those massive sell-offs. What's typically going to happen in the subsequent days? Well, the next day, there's either going to be a massive sell-off or a big rebound. So I like paying attention to those next days. And if you just look over here, let's go to the Qs. The Qs, this was yesterday. So yesterday we closed down just about 3%. And today it has rebounded back and it's up 1.5%, 1.7% at this point in time. But when I see something like this, just a massive drop in stock price, and if you come over here and let me pull up the volume here, this huge influx of volume that was coming in. What am I thinking for the next day? I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to go long on this. And it doesn't necessarily mean long from a long-term trading perspective. It could mean that I'm coming over here and looking at a day trade. So if I look at a day trade, banks tend to lead markets. If I just pull up XLF here, I probably had a big rebound this morning, and yes, I did. I knew that because we had that big drop in banks yesterday, big drop in the market, we were going to have this big spike today, or it was going to continue down. I can short it. It doesn't really matter. But I'm always looking for that rebound the next day, or that subsequent drop the next day. And day traders, you can absolutely crush here. You know that you're going to get a lot of influx of volume coming in. If people were saying, oh, I probably shouldn't have sold, I'm going to buy back in. That's when you're going to get really good engulfing candlesticks for an extended period of time. Plus, you're going to get a lot of volume in there of people saying, oh, it's probably over. I can go back and I can go buy and I'll be happy again, and we're going to these all-time highs. So something else I like to look at, I like to just know that I am going to be able to short stocks. So let's look at Micron, for example. This is a stock that I am in right now, and I've been in this since about $127 and change. And when we start getting these big moves down, this is outside of what happened yesterday. This is just on the last couple of weeks of negative sentiment in the market, from inflation data that was coming out to bad earnings, etc. You need to know how to short. And so what does shorting mean? Shorting means that you're making money on the way down. Stocks go down faster than they go up. It's just very simple. Something can fall a lot faster than it can go up. So you need to know how to make money on the way down. Now, people may hear me say going short, and you hear all the pundits on television. You can make endless losses. It's a very dangerous game. If you do it from more of I'm just going to throw something on there and see what happens, yeah, it's going to be a very dangerous game. But if you use my method and you have stops in place, it's a very, very profitable game, more so than going long on a stock. So you can walk through all of this with me in my community. Guys, we have chart set up in there. So if you're looking at my chart saying, how the hell is that thing set up? I can show you how to set that up. We have beautiful PDFs of it. You have access to me. You have access to the other members of the community. We go live and trade multiple times per week. I publish my trades out there. It is a great, great place to be. The link is in the description below. It's $25 a month right now. This is something that you need to learn how to do before everything starts to fall. If there's a recession that's happening, say tomorrow, stocks are going to fall heavily. You need to know how to make these trades and not be in it when everything's happening, and that's when you're going to be overwhelmed. Learn this skill before something happens. So let's look at this trade on Micron right here. This is kind of the entire short that I had. Now, how did I know to enter this thing short? Well, the first thing that I always look at is the trend. I'm starting to look right here, and this, of course, I didn't know any of this, and at the time, of course, I didn't know any of this. But I knew that I was starting to get this downtrend that was happening, and during that downtrend, what was going on? A lot of this selling volume was coming in. I was getting an influx of sellers. So a lot of negative sentiment was pushing into the stock. So I took a position around 127. I got lucky here with this big drop that happened. Yay, we're moving down. Now this thing has just been moving down, 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 and you just stick with it. You just continuously stick with it. But you see, look how short of amount of time this thing fell. This thing has fallen from $127 to $89 in a matter of 3 weeks or so, if you zoom this out and you look, this thing went from, let's see, $105 to even its peak, $157 in almost double the amount of time. So it takes longer to go up than it does to come down, and that is why shorting is so great. So now I'm looking at this thing saying, well, I'm not leaving it because the width between red and yellow is really what matters to me. And as we continuously, you can see it, these lines I just drew are getting wider and wider. I'm going to stay in the stock. Now we're below all 4 major moving averages, the 50, the 100, the 25, and the 200-day moving average. This is a fantastic way to make money. Another example here, I'll pull up Moderna. Moderna, I got in somewhere back in here. And this was earnings, so I was not in it during earnings, and there's going to be comments. I know that there's going to be comments. Don't you feel bad that you missed out on a 20% drop? No, I don't, because I'm never going to be in a stock during earnings. It's just not going to happen. And let me show you something interesting here, and this is something I caution you guys on. Guys, they beat on top and bottom line. They had a positive earnings report, and what happened to the stock? It fell 21%. If I would have told you that they were going to beat on top and bottom line, you would have said that the stock is up here. 100% of you would have said that the stock is up here, unless you've probably followed me. Then you know that it's a total crapshoot. Do not trade earnings. Do not trade earnings. You will get burned. I promise you, you will get burned. But I got back in this thing right down here, and I am in this thing again. The trend is absolutely beautiful. We're getting selling volume. There is not any support until about $68, and that's what I'm looking to do. So when things are hitting the fan, you need to learn how to short. You need to learn how to make money on the way down. This next video is a great example of how you can make money on the way down shorting a stock. Click this one right here. You're going to love it.